Did you see tangibles in Manny Diaz as an in-game coach that was an improvement from 2019 to 2020? And what would be the growth that would need to occur for you to see similar progress this year?
Second half adjustments were better. Second half timeout management was better. I want to see the week-to-week preparation become better, because there were a lot of games when Miami was, either close or tied or down at the half and should not have been. And I think that was just because, and there was, again, so many times, well, they did something we didn't expect, or they did something different. They did, like, yeah, you got to prepare for what they present on film, but you also have to self-scout and say, okay, if I were going against us, what would I do differently? You know what I mean? Because teams are invariably finding those different things that are tripping us up. So I want to see that he's able to think out of the box ahead of time and be prepared for those things. First half timeout management also, because, you can't take them with you or anything, but I want to stop seeing us take 2 timeouts in the first quarter. Things like that. Also, just playing the best players. JP wrote about it on the site, and we've talked about it. Seniority it's a factor, but it cannot be the only factor in who plays. And continuing to play players who I think would be better served on the bench, while you have other guys. Look at Gregory Rousseau. Like we talked about last week, if you were to turn sometimes in the late afternoon, evening of Saturday night, I'm going to steal your line. If you were to look at ESPN, you would see the guy who played in front of Gregory Rousseau. And it's not that guy's fault or anything, but like Gregory Rousseau played a singular season of college football and was a first-round draft pick and had 15 and a half sacks. So like, why did it take so long, and why were you stashing him behind? Oh, well, the other guy's great in the classroom. You can be great in the classroom. Again, I'm a scholar. I went to the University of Miami and graduated with honors. That's wonderful. But like, we're talking about sports here. I need you to be a better athlete. I need to be a better football player. And I think that we need to elevate those guys. So looking at that, playing the better guys, even if they're a little bit younger, within reason. Obviously, you're not just going to take somebody fresh up the turnip truck, but guys who are ready, and there are plenty of guys who are ready, i.e. this year, Avante Williams needs to either start or be at the top of that safety rotation. He needs to play heavy snaps, and he's proven it. But yeah, he's a little young and he doesn't know everything yet. Well, then, damn it, teach him on the field. But he's an incredible talent and showcased it during the spring game. So there's that. But yeah, I want to see the week-to-week operations and preparation become better. I want to see first half timeout management and game management be better, especially coming off the sideline off of a turnover or a kickoff. Because, there's nothing worse than like, the other team scores and they kick the ball off. Okay, and then you get a timeout before a delay game on the first snap coming off the sideline. What are y'all doing? Like, that doesn't make any kind of sense. And the killer instinct, too. I love the fact that a Manny Diaz coached team has now taken on the mentality that we're not going to quit, ever. And he's been very staunch on that since he got this job 2 years ago. So we're going to play hard. We're not going to quit. Even if we lose, even when we get beat, like, BGPO Football Funk said, UNC will beat Miami by 30 this year. Well, that'll cut the deficit in half for us from last year. So I guess that'd be positive movement. But even in that game, we saw some guys quit. But there were a lot of guys who didn't quit. But that's the hallmark of a Manny Diaz team, is that they're not going to quit. I want to see them not quit, but I also want to see them kick somebody's ass and not quit. You know what I mean? Like, it just keep going, roll them over. Don't get it and then, okay, we're going to, get a big lead or a decent lead. We're going to throttle down. Nah. Just like Jimmy Johnson used to say, the third string deserves to pass the ball. They want to go out here and run the full thing. So it's not my fault that we have talented guys back here on the second and third string. It's your job to stop them. I want to see that kind of thing. Not just from the first team. And we blew some teams out. Hey, Florida State. Hey, Louisville. Yeah, we did some of that. But I want to keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. And I want to see somebody break out. I want to see one of these freshman running backs have that freshman Frank Gore kind of a thing. 3 carries for 122 yards and 3 touchdowns, or 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That's what I'm trying to see.
Yeah, you would think with the disparity between Miami's roster as a top 15-ish roster and some of the teams that they skated by by a score against Virginia Tech, etc., that you're not going to kill everybody by 50 points in a conference like the ACC.
Right.
But that you would have more of those type of 42-17 type of games.
Right. And those games, the Virginia Tech games, that North Carolina State game, that should have been along those lines. It shouldn't have been 44-41. That's what I'm talking about. You know, but just extending out and having that be the thing instead of, okay, 1 point here, 3 points here. And again, I'm going to take a close win. I'm going to take an ugly win because we've been here and seen close and medium and blowout losses for years. So I'm not ever going to like say this is a terrible win. I'm going to say maybe we need to fix some things and it didn't look as good as I wanted it to, but I would rather win than not. But also with some of these teams like you're talking about, if you have a top 15-ish roster and a top 70-ish roster, we need to actually show that on the scoreboard a little bit more. And that's one of the last things I would say is a room for growth and development with a Manny Diaz coached team.
Yes, BGPO Football Funk. Of course, I'm going to honor your super chat by reading it off. Thank you so much for that. That North Carolina will beat Miami by 30 or so this year. Who knows? That the difference between the two teams is not 30 points, but they actually went out and did it. Yes, they did this past year.
That is correct.